In the heart of the Middle East, the ongoing conflict between Israel and Gaza has once again erupted into a harrowing and critical situation. Rockets have been raining down on cities across central and southern Israel, causing widespread panic among the residents. The GlobalOps report takes you through the rapidly unfolding events of this crisis, offering insight into the challenges faced by those living in the region and the responses from leaders and organizations around the world. In the turbulent region of Israel and Gaza, tensions have escalated dramatically. Rocket attacks from Gaza have rained down on cities across central and southern Israel, plunging the area into a critical and tense situation. Sirens wailed across the region, causing panic among residents. These rocket attacks triggered a series of events that have unfolded rapidly. Palestinian militants managed to infiltrate several southern Israeli towns, including Netivot and Ofakim, where they reportedly held Israeli civilians hostage. Tragically, a woman lost her life in Kfar Aviv due to rocket attacks, while several others sustained injuries in Ramel. Even the bustling city of Tel Aviv was not spared, as a building there suffered damage from rocket shrapnel. Power lines were knocked down, adding to the chaos. Israeli security forces found themselves in intense gunfights with militants who had infiltrated the country, resulting in ongoing clashes throughout the region. The situation became so dire that Israel's security cabinet was called upon to convene and address the crisis. In the midst of this turmoil, opposition leader Yair Lapid was briefed on the situation and expressed his support for the government's actions. Hamas claimed that these attacks were in response to what they described as aggression against the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Israeli military, in response, launched airstrikes on Hamas targets within the Gaza Strip. Calls for restraint and condemnation of the violence came from various international leaders and organizations, reflecting the global concern over the escalating conflict. In response to the unfolding crisis, Israeli protest groups cancelled their planned demonstrations in solidarity with the nation's security. Israeli reservists and pilots, who had been protesting against the judicial overhaul, returned to their duties to support the nation's defense during this critical time. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem closely monitored the situation, offering support for Israel's right to self-defense. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant declared a special state of emergency in a radius of 80 kilometers from the Gaza Strip border. Israel's police chief characterized the situation as a state of war, with ongoing confrontations and clashes reported in various areas. As the events continued to unfold, Israeli residents in southern regions pleaded for security forces to rescue them from uncertainty. Reports emerged of terrorist infiltrations into an Israeli police station and other locations, further complicating the situation. In the heart of East Jerusalem, clashes between Palestinians and IDF troops erupted, adding to the complexity of this crisis. Throughout these turbulent hours, statements of condemnation and support poured in from various world leaders and officials. In a bid to aid the injured, Israeli emergency services called for nationwide blood donations, highlighting the severity of the situation. Given the security crisis, protests against the judicial overhaul in Israel were cancelled, with a focus shifting towards supporting the nation's security forces. Israeli security forces responded swiftly to the attacks, mobilizing reserve personnel to bolster their efforts in this critical time. Amidst all the chaos, Israeli airports continue to operate under strict security and safety guidelines, ensuring the safety of travelers. The situation remains fluid, with developments unfolding rapidly. Our thoughts are with all those affected by these events, as the region grapples with uncertainty and turmoil. As Israel and Gaza navigate this crisis, the world watches and hopes for a swift and peaceful resolution to bring an end to this period of intense conflict and instability.